Any comments? Any comments?
Hello?
Okay, being no comments from the folks or from any council members, we will close the public hearing at 7:09 p.m. We will reconvene now to the regular, back to the regular council meeting. And do we need a resolution? No, that's the very first item on the business. I'm looking for, here we go. Here we go. Okay, 13A. So now we'll go to new business and ask for your consideration for the resolution approving a tax abatement for the property out by the hospital. This is resolution form by Nani.
Second, dispense with the reading.
Second by Paul, and dispense with the reading. Is there any further discussion on this issue? If not, all in favor signify by show of hands. Opposed? Resolution passes 5-0 unanimous. So look forward to more stuff coming for this. Okay, 13B, resolution setting fees for certain city licenses. That's for rental licenses. That came up a year ago and was reviewed by the budget committee and staff. And the resolution in front of you is proposed so that multifamily is charged more than single-family units, and this is what we discussed last year of raising the, adjusting the licenses to $40, staying the same for single-family, but then anything over 8 units is an extra $5 per unit for the number of units with a maximum of $160.
You think that's still fair? How many rental units do we have? They're over 8 units.
Over 8, we have 3 projects, 24, which would not be, which would be below the 160. The reason we talked about setting the maximum fee at 160 because it's public apartments is the only one that's going to affect more than this.
That doesn't bother the fact that if you have a complex with 8 or less, you're paying the same as somebody that's got a single rental dwelling. I still don't think that's right.
Okay.
And I'm sure we're going to hear about it if we pass it that way.
Okay. What would you propose?
Well, I don't know. I mean, there has to be some other way of looking at it.
I mean, if they're gonna do the $5, you might as well do the $5 for every one after a single.
That's would be.
Well, you got a lot of families that have duplexes and triplexes. You sure you want to raise them too?
Are they rentals?
Yeah. Yes. Mm-hmm. Like, and not to specific names, but there's like folks like Kenny's have duplexes and simplexes as does Fred Len's, and got nothing to do with who it is. It's what's good for the entire community.
I think when we talked about it, we also talked because it takes the inspector X amount of time to go into those, and so that there should be compensation each time it enters another department.
I did everything exactly how it's written. So if you're going to review it and get some comments to Joe, we can just table this and bring it up next meeting. No problem.
Because they say if they're going to go in and check 8 apartments, then if they want to do one.
Depends on, you have a lot less square footage in multiple units of more than 2, 3, or 4 than you
Aren't
do.
aren't they checking furnaces
Every room.
and water heaters and stuff like that?
In every room, and every room as well, in addition to, excuse me.
So what do you think, Dan? You want to have that for family dwellings and apartment complexes of what, 4 units, and then charge beyond
Well,
that?
if you
What
got-
are you thinking for numbers?
Well, I know, I guess I'd have to look at what kind of rental structure house broke down.
All right, well, we'll provide that to you, Walter, if you want to table, we'll bring it up the next meeting. Sure. I make a motion to
I
table.
move we table it.
Okay.
Second.
Oh, yep, any further discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried unanimous. We'll be back in a couple weeks, so if you folks could visit with Joe then and figure out what you like, we'll get it, sure. You bet. And the time it takes, you have Bill come in, he could Bill Miller will be able to answer you, you know, how many minutes it takes for whatever the amount of units are, so you have it. That's great.
That's an annual fee, right? It's
Correct.
Once a year?
Yes. Correct. Okay, 13C, Railroad Days Committee request.
There are certain streets that they would like blocked off for their parade and for their exhibits on the 27th of June.
Need a motion?
That's the motion.
Second. Paul, any further discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried unanimous. 13D, authorization for contract with TKDA for development of airport master plan, 13D. So,
Every 10 years, we're required to review the master plan for the airport. Since the last master plan was done, the FAA has come up with a number of requirements that additional things that now need to be included in the master plan, so we're requesting to move forward with TKDA. 90% of the cost of this project is paid through federal funding.
and this is in resolution.
No, this is the motion.
Motion, okay.
So moved.
Second.
Josh, Don Helmerson, any further discussion?
Does the state pick up any portion of that tab?
They might, with the new funding process, they may pick up 5. The last couple pieces will be 5%.
Okay.
Will be 90,
5,
5,
5.
5.
Okay.
I'll know that tomorrow afternoon.
Okay. Yep.
Okay. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried unanimous. 13E, authorization for contract with TATA for the replacement of runway lighting.
The runway lighting is obsolete. We're having difficult time finding replacements. They're also looking at the possibility of putting LED lights in out at the airport. The lighting panel is the original that was put in a significant number of years ago when the airport was constructed.
Should be the 80s, right, Ray?
And again, this is a 95 and 5. 90% federal, 5% state, 5% city.
Local.
This, so we're authorizing them to go to bid for this, or?
Yes, they would
Okay.
prepare the requirement specs and go to bid for this.
Are we gonna have a comparison of what we think we'd save with LED versus conventional lighting, so we can make a,
Well, and the
And
feds will
informs-
have to put their final seal of approval on this also.
okay,
So that's,
They'll tell us.
they'll tell us what we're gonna do?
yep.
Pretty much.
Well,
I can't believe that.
No,
of course, they are picking up 90% of the cost.
Well-
so-
they're gonna tell us water can, I don't know if they'll want to do this, so.
Anything to add? The NDB is history anyway, right? Non-directional beacon?
No more strobe light?
Pardon me?
No more strobe light? Then I don't wanna get both home at night.
Okay, go ahead. The motion? Okay, motion
Moved.
is Paul.
Second.
Josh, any further discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried unanimous. 13F, resolution granting special use permit to allow installation of 2 double-walled above-ground tanks in I-2 district. Joe,
In your packet, you have the resolution and also a copy of the planning commission minutes, which states that the planning commission approved the recommendation to the council allowing DKC to put in the double-lined 2 diesel fuel tanks for off-road fuel and white fuel for business use only. This would be located west of your office building.
come on up, Brett. BKC is Brett, he's here, and it's only for your personal use, not for resale.
Right.
The fuel, okay. It's right west of Inger Body Shop, west of the vet clinic. And 2 tanks will be on the west side of your building. And they double wall for, so if there's a,
All double wall, inside the fence area, now the concrete.
And then will it be locks on the pumps too then? and-
Yep.
Okay.
anybody got any questions of Brett?
There's some sort of berm that they build around that in case it
Not a
starts
double
to
wall
leak.
tank.
That's why there's a double wall.
They're all monitored, so if there's, the inside tank leaks anything, they know it right away.
Okay, so then who monitors that and when do you know if there's a?
It's new way.
New way does, so there's some sort of emergency indicator
Yep,
and they know that and
they know that.
they get there. Do we have any other above ground tanks like that in town compared?
We got some above ground tanks, but I think that was in the old days when they were still burned up on
Yeah.
5th Avenue North
Used to be.
and
The
Lower
bus, the
Pass.
bus shed, yeah, they got,
Double wall. You got no different. Adam,
We got 3 10,000 gallon ones
at their generation plant.
and they're just double wall. There's nothing special for them other than that.
Okay. Okay, any questions of Brett? Thank you. Come on, how you doing? Welcome.
You have to bear with me, I'm getting over a cold, so I'm
You're fine.
raspy voice.
You're okay.
My name is Brenda Gallegos, and I am here to speak on behalf of my parents, Francisco and Maria Gallegos, and myself. We live at 26th Avenue South, near the BKC construction site. Our concerns are as follows. As far as my questions were answered at the first meeting, I felt as if our opinion on the matter did not concern anyone. But I think it would have been beneficial for more information to be distributed for those living near the site. I just want to raise a couple of concerns that we have, and maybe others as well. I know that no one else attended the preliminary meeting, which I think was unfortunate. But the way the first meeting ended motivated me to do my own research. My first concern is how everybody was notified with the letter in the mail. I know that when we received the mail, if I did not, excuse me, I was not able to read it to my parents probably would not have been able to understand it because the letters were sent out in English. I know most of the people there on 6th Avenue South are almost all, if not most all of them, are Spanish speaking. So my concerns are, when the letter came, did they have somebody to read that letter? Was there no notification in the shopper's guide that usually, well, you know, they'll have notifications in English and in Spanish, or flyers put at the library for people to be able to inquire about what was going on in their neighborhood. I understand that double-line tanks are safe, and I felt that this was explained to me and my parents at the meeting. But in my research, I discovered that even though the tanks are double-lined, there are still construction flaws that may and do occur. For example, corrosion, stress, cracking, weld and valve failures, and overfill spills during transfers, and occasional ruptures in the tank. These flaws can cause soil and water table contamination, catch fire, and create hazards for wildlife and humans. Diesel exhaust contains several toxic substances, and scientific studies have concluded that people living near or workers exposed to diesel exhaust are more likely to develop lung cancer. Long-term exposure to diesel exhaust poses the highest cancer risk of any toxic air containment evaluated by the American Lung Association. People living near facilities that store diesel fuel are at greater risk to be exposed to higher levels of fuel chemicals like benzene, found in diesel fuel, than the general public. The symptoms can cause dizziness, headaches, nausea, vomiting, confusion, and respiratory disease, which concerns me a lot because me and my mom also struggle with chronic asthma. Living near these facilities can increase the risk of adverse health effects, both liquid and exhaust. As I have learned from the Minnesota Pollution Control Agency, that these tanks can be safe. They can also malfunction, causing risk hazards to people within close proximity. And I can see this facility right outside my window, which scares me a lot to think of the things that could go wrong. I appreciate the opportunity to share my concerns in an open forum, and I want to say that although my parents and I are not in favor of this permit, I hope that the BKC Construction understands fully its responsibility and its integrity within the community of St. James. Living next to a facility storing diesel fuel is overwhelming, so please understand the concerns that I have. Thank you.
Well, any other comments from anyone? Okay.
Brett, this fuel is going into your equipment, right? And they're talking exhaust is what your main concern is. You're talking about the effects of that. Most of the time, what percentage of the time do you think your equipment is going to be actually running on your property? You're buying this for stuff to use on job sites, right? Yeah. So,
And let me just say too, that I understand that, you know, more normal people are gonna get the exhaust and all the vapors and stuff from just living in cities and, you know, around vehicles and stuff. But one hot day when a spill happens, when they're transferring some of the fuel into their truck and some spillage happens, which you can't tell me that it's 100% controlled all the time. Hits the ground, it evaporates, contaminates the water, and even on a hot day catches fire. It's still a real big concern for me because it's right outside my window. It's right outside our house. You know, something like that happens, the house blows up, what are we left with?
Okay, thank you.
It's diesel fuel, not gas.
Yeah.
Now, I
It
know,
doesn't explode.
and that's exactly what I look in diesel fuel, especially that contains the benzene is what I researched.
How many rail cars a day do we have going through there that have tankers, I wonder, I mean, with chopping all their diesel or whatever?
I don't know.
There's a ton of them.
I understand your concerns, but, you know, in a community like St. James where we have the businesses looking to improve their operation, if we looked at what if all the time,
Right.
could we get anything done? I understand your concerns, and if there's a problem over there, Brett, if they had a spillage there, who actually would be?
No way would.
You would take care of the
No way.
New Way?
New ways.
Yeah.
The tanks belong to New Wave. You're utilizing their tanks as you're buying the fuel from
Right.
them.
Are these new tanks or used
Brand new.
tanks? New tanks?
Brand new, yeah.
Yeah. So,
Any other discussion?
Is there any way to soften the look of it between their house and the tanks itself by putting in a couple trees, some shrubs or
Well,
something, so when they're looking out the
have you
window?
been
don't see-
down by Brett's place?
Yeah.
I mean, if you're worried about
It's
covering
behind
up
the
tanks.
fence.
I mean, honestly, just covering with trees and foliage isn't gonna make a difference, just knowing it's there. Like I said at the preliminary meeting, you know, I think that it's, the decision has pretty much been made up. But I just wanted to pose our concerns as residents for over 50 years in this town, you know, we moved in that area because they wanted a safe area for their kids to grow up where we're growing, and now my parents are there, they're retired, and all us 4 kids want is that our parents are safe, and to know that this is moving in next door, and I'm not trying to be, you know, I don't wanna be offensive to you guys in any way, because building, you know, helping the community grow with businesses and, you know, is a good thing for the community, but, you know, having something like that move into our neighborhood is just really something, I mean, if it was close to you, I think that it would be something that would wake you up, that would make you think about it. It's not, and then to see, you know, as many kids as there are in our neighborhood, it's just a scary thing, and I remember that before, they had, I don't know what was there before, but they had those little silver tanks out there. And
Propane.
the propane tanks, and I remember kids at night would always come there and throw rocks and stuff at those, not understanding what they were all the time, throwing rocks and sticks at it, and that was just scary enough as it was. And I'm sure that if you guys have, you know, your fence and stuff, that would do that. But still, there's kids that do, you know, that do naughty things like that. And just remembering that, it just brings back a lot of concern, it just brings up concern. I don't want my parents to live like that. They're in retirement now. They should be living their lives, you know, fully to the end, and this is concerning.
Fair enough. Any other discussion? Council wishes? This resolution, this would be in resolution form to approve.
I move that we approve the suspense of reading.
Okay, Josh?
Second,
Second by
Spencer
Don.
Reed.
Any further discussion?
And let them be reassured that Brett's company and the city, if something does happen, that we will be there to take care of it. It's too bad that your city, your residence is located right across from basically a business commercial
I too.
setup where expansion's gonna take place.
Well, it's my understanding that any spill over 10 gallons has to report to EPA anyways, right? 5 gallons?
5 gallons.
Okay. In which case, the state would be
Okay.
involved in cleanup as well.
Okay, any other discussion?
Probably better than the coming out of the body shop when that was there.
Yeah.
Probably. All in favor, signify by show of hands. Opposed? Resolution passes 5-0 unanimous. Thank you for your comments. Please tell your mom and dad that also. Muchas gracias. Okay, very good. 13G on the amended agenda, excuse me. Resolution supporting state of Minnesota 2016 bonding bill for Highway 4, reconstruction and adjacent street projects.
We've been notified by the Minnesota Office of Budget Management that we have the ability of again applying for state funding under the bonding bill, the 2016 bonding bill. It's a whole different process than what we used for the 2015 bonding bill. One of the requirements is that we have City Council adopt resolutions supporting the bonding bill process.
And we're still working on the current one, depending on what PFA comes out as, let me see, I talked to Bob Gunther today, called me. Part is a low interest loan, part is a grant, depending on the per capita income of St. James, Minnesota. There'll be more information to come, that's all he could tell me today. That was about 11:30, he called me today. And they're still working on depending on what the special section does. But this broadens our efforts to try and get some money, whether low interest and or partial grant from the state for our project. So this is in resolution form.
So move dispense with reading.
Nine.
Second. Suspense of reading.
Paul, any further discussion? All in favor, signify by show of hands. Opposed? Resolution passes 5-0 unanimous. And as we get more information, Joe and I, from Gunther, Julie Rosen, and Tony Cornish, we will pass it on to you. This was the update for 11:30 this morning. 13H, resolution supporting state of Minnesota bonding bill, St. James Lake Drain Project that you started when?
Today.
Okay.
Again, what we're doing is requesting that a resolution be passed supporting the bonding bill for 2016. The engineer's estimate for the project is $2.5 million to completely repair, replace that lake drain.
That'd be digging everything up.
Some of it would be pipe bursting and dragging a liner in it. But a lot of it would be open cut because it would be cheaper to do that way.
And we started, let me see, you started 30 inch and ended 42, is that
That
right?
is correct.
Good. 30 inch to the west, and then 42 could get bigger as we get to the fire.
It is the lake drain, but it is also the storm sewer system for the most of the south side of town. So don't just call it the lake drain because it's.
And that is spelled out in the resolution that it is approximately 6,200 linear feet and a major conveyance of stormwater for the southern half of the community of St. James in addition to the drainage of St. James Lake.
Do you think there'd be any opportunity for any DNR funding?
We're trying to do some research in regards to who paid the bill when it was originally done. And if the DNR participated in that, there may be a possibility.
Shannon, do
No, we're doing it through the Historical Society.
What, kind of time frame you look at something like that,
Put it in.
to complete it?
Well, I wouldn't have, I'm saying a fully construction season because it goes, you know, backyards and, right now we are, I just left them before I came to the meeting tonight and they are at, by Mrs. Ness. And so far we've gotten one block that's fit to be used again.
How much, what percentage of this actually follows the street? And what percentage cuts through
50/50.
about 50%?
Backyards, we're gonna say?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have some backyards, we've got it through the ball field, we've got it through the football field.
Football, baseball?
When it goes east of the skating rink, what direction
East of,
at that point?
east of the skating rink, it goes north to Third Avenue, and then it's in Third Avenue, goes to the, St. Clair Fire Hall.
So it follows Third Avenue at that point?
Yes.
It's not in, behind the lens in that alley? Nothing in there? That's a separate, that must be a private sewer then in there, storm sewer. Behind Dick Lynn to the
No,
south,
no,
excuse me, to the north, excuse me, to the north.
that goes to the other storm sewer that comes out beside our city shops.
Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. Need a resolution on this.
So moved, dispense the reading.
Josh,
Second, dispense with reading.
Paul, any further discussion? All in favor signify by show of hands. Opposed? Resolution passes 5-0 unanimous. Don? Don? Pam? You sure? Joe?
Three things. Number one, a flyer was sent out to all residents last couple of days in regards to the community cleanup, which is Saturday, June 20th, from 7:30 until 11:30, and they will be stopping promptly at 11:30. So,
Question,
yes,
which was brought up with her concern. Is this in both English and Spanish?
no, it is not.
Do you think we should, now, can I hold up the back, pull that up again, way to go? Okay, so that's folded, mailed out like that?
Mhm.
I was going, yeah,
Are we
so
gonna
we couldn't go two-sided then.
Are we gonna run an ad in the paper for that also?
Yes, Shopper's Guide,
Will that
and we
be
can do that in Spanish.
bilingual?
Yes.
7:30, 11:30, you have to bring it to the street shop.
What time is it?
7:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m.
So far.
And this, and this shows what they will take and what they won't, what they will not accept and what they will accept.
And you have to be a resident of St. James too,
Correct.
right?
Yes.
Yep, and you have to have identification showing your residence as well.
And also next Monday, June 8th, 10th Avenue North, they are going to be starting the milling of that avenue at 7:30 in the morning. And also on Monday, June 8th, the 6th Avenue South project will be starting. So 6th Avenue will be closed from First Street to the county road.
That milling, is that just east of Armstrong, or is that the
It's
entire?
east, no, that's east of Armstrong
To
going
the-
to 11.
To the dead
Okay.
end. To the dead end.
I think it's a bear, I think it's a Jeep.
Oh, excuse me. Okay.
That's all I have.
Thanks. It's to the T.
Getting back to the citywide,
Mhm.
remember when the first year they did that out the Currys?
I'm on vacation.
Are we gonna
It's
have,
not an excuse.
we're gonna need somebody down there directing traffic. You're gonna have to have some flow of traffic.
Me and Joel, myself and Joel will be discussing how this is gonna operate.
Okay.
And
I'll
we'll
be there with the taser.
Because I remember when that first one,
Oh, they were lined up forever, and then Wendy's, supposed to
Henry
quit
Curry-
at 11:30.
Henry Curry had a 6 snowmobile trailer out there, he's gonna put tires on. And after that was over, he got a hold of me, and he said, come out and look at that tire, he had them tire, I think it was a semi-load and a half it took to get out of there. He had a 6 snowmobile trailer, he's gonna put them on. But
we're not-
it's
we're
gonna
not
be some
taking
problems,
tires.
especially with that tight, frame length of time.
Mhm. 4 hours.
No.
So if you're in line and it's 11:31, you can't drop-off can be?
Well, the issue is they have to get their vehicles to the dump before the dump closes, because they need that empty for Monday morning.
We'll try to the best of our ability.
County closes at 2 on Saturdays, I think.
They're gonna take it to the cheapest place they can because we are getting a deal.
Okay.
Cost. That was part of our renewal, our 5-year renewal with Waste Management. And we will make sure that it gets out in Spanish. We'll make sure that it gets out to everyone in Spanish, and we'll have it at City Hall where everybody can pick it up, and we'll advertise it in Spanish in the Shopper's Guide. And if you think of some other ideas, then tell us so we can do that as well. Thank you.
For their situation, when we have a letter sent out for the planning commission, they send out only in English too?
Correct.
Maybe that's something we gotta change.
Yeah, everything is only in English, and if
I
it wasn't for
yeah,
me to read it for my parents, my parents wouldn't have it.
I agree with that.
Find it interesting in that every year we advertise that the water information is available in Spanish. And in the last 9 years, I think we've had 2 times that one person has come in and requested it be in Spanish.
Well, it's just like, you commented on the number of people that showed up. You saw how many people showed up
Yeah.
for the first part of this public meeting we had tonight.
And let me just say something to that. The thing is too, is that a lot of people will not come and do that because they're used to using their children as interpreters. That is wrong to do to children. Children should not be posed in that position. They're gonna use their children because their children are there. They don't wanna ask for help because they're embarrassed because they can't speak the language. It should be available to people, especially if your community is 80% of Spanish speakers. It should definitely be out there. I know places up in the cities where they have everything in like 3 different languages, and they have documents that have to be, and brochures that have to all be in all those languages. Now I know St. James is probably far from that, and it's probably not going to be like that for a long time. But I'm going to tell you right now that I think that you're going to get a lot more cooperation from the Latin community if there's more of if they feel that it's actually being brought to them, to their attention, and it's actually being brought to them so that they can understand it. Because I think that a lot of the community just thinks that, okay, they're just going to tell us this and that and that and that. But if it's not being put out there in their language as well as, you know, they're not gonna respond to it as well. And like I said, children should not be in a position where they should be reading their parents' bills, be reading their parents' notifications, reading their parents' letters. Kids shouldn't be doing that.
If we do try and do the best we can and they don't show up, then it's nothing, there's not a weight's not on our shoulders.
Exactly, but at least you know that you tried, and at least you know that you put out that letter on one side English, the other side Spanish. If your community is more than half of that language, I think that it's something definitely that you guys need to look at.
Very good. And they shouldn't be embarrassed that they don't speak English any more than I'm probably embarrassed because I don't speak Spanish. Like my Spanish is muy mal, like very bad. I took 9 weeks of Spanish with Senora Brueggemann. She's a superintendent at Sleepy Eye, and it helps you comprehend and understand just how difficult it is for the Spanish to learn English, because of how difficult it was for me for the 9 weeks that I took the Spanish to learn Spanish. I kept telling Ellie Brueggemann, slow down, because I wasn't getting that fast enough. And then when I was in high school, I didn't care much, but here I was here to learn and still had a hard time doing it. But it all helps. An attempt and a sincere attempt goes a long ways to helping them. Very good. Thank you, Joe. That's it. Code enforcement, you saw in here what Bill's doing the last 30 days. And,
We getting anywhere with the landscaping at the library?
It's being worked on. I'll be with you after the meeting.
Okay.
anything else, Jeff?
Nope.
Great.
Since I'm such a concerned citizen, with our televising, I helped Mark find a water break today, so. We found, during our televising the storm sewer, we found a water break. They will be digging in our streets again. Other than that, the televising's going good. Hopefully we'll finish tomorrow if it doesn't rain. Your report will come out.
Very good, thank you. Mark?
No, I will not pay for the televising.
That's all you want to bring up?
That's all I got to say.
Adam?
No,
Okay,
What's the movie this week, Adam?
I believe she said Jurassic World.
Oh.
I believe, but don't hold me to
No,
that.
Tomorrowland.
Tomorrowland.
can you tell us?
I think it's an hour and 57 minutes. I have no idea.
Thanks, Linda. Adam, I mean, excuse me.
You bet.
Okay, motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Thank you. Have a great night. Thanks everyone for attending.